Let's get right into it. Number 10. The 10-second time warp. Ever notice how 10 seconds feels like forever when you're holding your breath, but suspiciously short when you're late for work? Yeah, your brain isn't great at keeping time. It's more of a drunk DJ than a metronome. See, your sense of time isn't handled by a single clock in your head. It's a messy collaboration between several brain regions, all trying to sync like a Wi-Fi connection in a metal basement. When you're bored or anxious, your brain's internal metronome starts tapping like a hyperactive drummer. The more you focus on time, the slower it feels, because your attention magnifies every passing millisecond. But when you're busy or having fun, your attention is elsewhere, so your brain just forgets to log half the seconds. You literally lose time because your mind was too distracted to notice it passing. That's why an hour on TikTok feels like a blink, while waiting for your food delivery feels like you're aging in real time. It's not that time is changing, it's your perception that's broken. The more attention you give time, the slower it goes. Basically, your brain's sense of time is like an unreliable friend who says they'll be there in 5 minutes but shows up next week. So next time you think, wow, time is flying, it's not the universe moving faster, it's you spacing out like a goldfish with a smartphone addiction. Number 9. The near-death slow-mo effect. You know that thing people say when they almost crash their car? It was like everything moved in slow motion? Yeah, that's real, but not for the reason you think. You're not suddenly entering Matrix mode, your brain's just hitting the panic record button. In extreme danger, your amygdala, the part of your brain that handles fear, goes full director's cut and records everything in high definition. Your senses become hyperactive, and your brain collects an absurd number of details per second. Later, when you recall the moment, your memory is so dense it feels like time slowed down. But it didn't. You just experienced it in higher resolution. Think of it like switching from a 30 FPS video to 120 FPS. The event didn't actually take longer, it just feels smoother and more detailed when you replay it. Your brain basically says, we might die, so let's film this in 4K. So the next time you trip, fall, and feel like you're plummeting in cinematic slow motion, just remember, you're not a superhero dodging bullets. You're a terrified meat computer spamming the save data button. Number 8. Time dilation from boredom. Ever sit through a painfully long meeting where you swear the clock is broken? Spoiler, it's not. You just got stuck in a psychological wormhole called time dilation. Your brain can't handle monotony, it's built to look for new information. So when nothing interesting happens, it panics and keeps checking the clock, like an impatient kid on a road trip. The less stimulation you get, the more your brain fixates on the passage of time, which stretches it out like stale chewing gum. It's why a 2-minute ad feels eternal, but you'll blink through a 2-hour gaming session. Researchers found that during boredom, your brain's internal clock speeds up, but your attention slows down. It's like running a stopwatch while half asleep. The result? Time drags like a sloth in molasses. Basically, boredom is your brain's passive-aggressive way of saying, please, give me something, anything, to do. Because if you don't, it'll just make you suffer by extending every second until your soul evaporates. Number 7. The vacation time paradox. Vacations are weird. While you're on one, time flies. You blink, and the week's gone. But when you look back, it feels like you were gone forever. That's not nostalgia. It's a brain glitch called the vacation paradox. When you're doing new things, your brain has to store more memories. The more distinct events you encode, the longer that time period feels in hindsight. So during the trip, you're busy living it, and time vanishes. But afterward, when you replay all those new experiences, it feels like a huge chunk of time passed. Contrast that with your daily routine. Wake, work, scroll, sleep. Days blend together, and your memory compresses them into nothing. You've lived weeks, but they feel like hours. So in the weirdest way possible, the key to feeling like you've lived a long, full life is just to do more different stuff. Your brain measures time not by the clock, but by novelty. Basically, if every day feels fast, congratulations, you're boring your brain to death. Number 6. The waiting time illusion. Here's a fun brain prank. waiting for something always feels longer than doing it. Whether it's waiting for a text reply, buffering a video, or standing in line for coffee while the person in front orders a frappuccino with a family tree of toppings, time crawls. And your brain's to blame. When you're waiting, your mind slips into temporal hyperawareness mode. You're not engaged with anything meaningful, so your attention zeroes in on every passing second. But the moment the thing starts, the text arrives, the video plays, the barista finally hands you that overpriced milkshake, time suddenly snaps back to normal speed. There's even a name for this, the filled duration illusion. When your brain is occupied, it underestimates time. When it's idle, it overestimates it. It's like how an empty fridge seems bigger when you're hungry but tiny when you actually fill it. This illusion is why people check their phones compulsively. Every glance gives your brain a hit of progress. It tricks time into moving faster. But as soon as the dopamine dries up, you're right back in the temporal swamp, counting seconds like a malfunctioning metronome. So if you ever feel like waiting is unbearable, it's not just impatience. It's your brain, sitting in the driver's seat, honking at the universe for being too slow. Number 5. Time speeds up as you age. Remember being a kid and summer vacation felt infinite? Now you blink and it's October again. No, you're not secretly living in a simulation with bad frame pacing. This is called proportional time perception. When you're 5 years old, a year is 1/5 of your life. But when you're 50, it's only 1/50th. To your brain, each year literally becomes a smaller slice of your overall timeline. Combine that with the fact that adults have fewer firsts, fewer new experiences to record, and you get a perfect storm where time feels like it's sprinting downhill without brakes. It's not that life speeds up, it's that your memory stops expanding at the same rate. Think of it like taking photos. As a kid, you're snapping new pictures constantly. As an adult, you're just scrolling through the same few saved albums. No wonder the slideshow feels shorter. So if you want to slow down time again, do something new. Travel, learn a language, eat something weird. Your brain stretches time when it's surprised. Otherwise, it's just coasting on autopilot, trimming decades like an overzealous editor. Basically, novelty is your only time machine, and boredom is the delete key. Number 4. The time-traveling dream glitch. Ever wake up from a dream that felt like it lasted hours, only to see you'd been asleep for 10 minutes? Congratulations, you just experienced a REM time glitch. Dreams don't play out in real time. Your brain isn't showing you a movie, it's improvising a highlight reel. During REM sleep, your brain fires up memory and imagination circuits simultaneously, blending them into weird narratives that feel continuous but are actually stitched together on the fly. Neuroscientists think your sense of dream duration is created during recall. In the moment, your brain isn't counting minutes. It's just generating sensations and emotions. When you wake up, it fills in the blanks, giving the illusion that you just lived through an entire season of a Netflix drama inside your head. Basically, your brain is a lazy filmmaker that edits the entire dream in post-production. That's why time can loop, jump, or bend in ways that make no sense and yet still feel real. You can live through a full school year, then wake up and realize you only napped through a commercial break. So when someone says, "It felt like I dreamed for days," they technically did, at least in their brain's weird little movie studio. Number 3. The time stands still reflex. Ever had a jump scare where everything freezes, like your brain hits pause for a millisecond? That's a reflex known as time freeze, and it happens when your nervous system momentarily shuts off your perception of time. It's your body's version of buffering. When you encounter something shocking, like a sudden loud noise or a shadow moving in the dark, your brain momentarily diverts all attention to survival processing. It's prioritizing asterisk, what is that? Asterisk over asterisk, how long is this lasting? During that split second, your time perception literally stops. Then, as your senses catch up, your brain reboots, often giving you the impression that the world paused. It's why in scary moments everything feels frozen, and afterward, it rushes to fill the gap, making time feel weirdly elastic. In evolutionary terms, this made sense. Pausing time gave our ancestors a microsecond advantage to react, like slow-motion reflexes in an action movie. But for modern humans, it just makes you spill coffee and scream at pigeons. Your brain isn't malfunctioning. It's just overreacting with 100,000 years of outdated software. Number 2. The time perception drunk mode. You've probably heard people say, time flies when you're having fun, but also when you're tipsy. Ever notice how after a few drinks, hours disappear like socks in a dryer? Alcohol doesn't just blur your speech and judgment. It scrambles your internal clock, too. When you drink, your cerebellum and prefrontal cortex, the brain regions responsible for timing and attention, basically throw up their hands and go, asterisk, yeah, we're done. Asterisk the result? Your brain stops accurately measuring short intervals, so you consistently underestimate how much time has passed. That's why the just one more round logic feels reasonable until the bartender's flipping chairs onto tables. Alcohol shrinks your time windows, tricking you into thinking you've been at the bar for 20 minutes when it's actually been 3 hours and a karaoke performance you'll regret forever. What's wild is that this same time distortion happens with other altered states too, like stress, caffeine overload, or adrenaline rushes. In each case, your brain's timekeeping neurons either speed up or zone out entirely. It's not the world spinning, it's your internal clock deciding to run on drunk mode. So the next time someone says they lost track of time at a party, that's not just a figure of speech. Their brain literally misplaced a few hours somewhere between the second drink and the bad decisions playlist. Number 1. The eternal present, your brain's biggest lie. Here's the ultimate brain twist. You never actually live in the present moment. You're always about 80 milliseconds behind reality. See, your brain doesn't process information instantaneously. It takes a tiny bit of time to gather, interpret, and synchronize sensory data. Light hits your eyes, sound hits your ears, touch hits your skin, but all those signals travel at different speeds. So your brain waits, merges them into one, now, and presents it to you as reality. That means what you think of as this exact moment is actually the brain's best guess at what just happened. You're watching a slightly delayed broadcast of your own life. And that delay isn't constant. It stretches or compresses depending on what you're doing, how focused you are, or how your emotions are firing. Ever notice how time slows when you're scared, speeds when you're in flow, or stops entirely in awe? That's your brain editing its internal timeline on the fly. You're not perceiving time, you're creating it. In a sense, you're not really living in the present at all. You're living in your brain's highlight reel of a moment that's already gone. Which means reality, as you experience it, is just a well-edited illusion, one your mind keeps looping so you don't lose your place in the story. Basically, you're a few frames late to your own life. But hey, at least the lighting's great. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.